shout out goes out to our current channel members. If you were interested in picking up a channel membership for as little as $1.99 a month, head over to my channel profile and hit the join button to view all of the available perks. Thanks! So hello there everyone, and welcome here today for a brand new video. Now today I thought it would be extra interesting if we went back to the document that we've already made a few videos on, made by YouTuber DuckBricks, that you may already know about, that essentially sums up absolutely everything recently stated by Ninjago co-creator and also producer Tommy Andreasen, and pick out an extremely interesting element from this. But this isn't just any interesting thing. This is actually a whole new alternative ending to Ninjago Crystalized and also to the Ninjago series as we know it from 2011 up until 2022. Now, how this video is going to be structured: first off, we will have a segment that I'm going to be reading out to you, and then afterwards we will come back, break it down, and I will share my own personal thoughts and opinions on all of this. So, without wasting any further time, let's dive straight into this. Alright then, so it reads here: one scenario had Lloyd destroy Overlord and decimate him after the death of Garmadon. He's so angry that he is lost in his Oni form, and he takes the throne. This is shown in the sets. The realm starts falling apart. The balance is completely torn apart. Then Nia comes out of the ocean and they have a huge fight, and it's up for the ninja to fight Lloyd and bring him back. Then you have the same ending. There were scenarios where Garmadon died as well, but they decided to just make it nice and tidy. And wow, this is basically the alternative crystallized ending, if you will. And although the very end is still going to be the same, the part just a little bit before the end is obviously completely different, as it says here. Now, let's break this down. So Lloyd destroys the Overlord in his Oni form after the death of Garmadon. So it would kind of be like what we saw with Garmadon faking his death, you know, to make Lloyd go into his Oni form, except Garmadon dies for real this time, which already is very dramatic, and I think that would have been really cool to see, as long as Garmadon doesn't magically return in the next season, you know what I'm saying? But I think that would definitely be great, and seeing Lloyd's rage and Oni side just completely take over him at the sight of that shows how strong their connection really is, and would also just be cool, to put it simply. I think that would be a fantastic route to take in this, and he takes the throne, and that's also very interesting. That is, of course, what we saw in the sets, as said here by Tommy Andreasen. So I'm not too sure if this means that, like, this was, like, actually going to happen, and it made it quite close to making the final cut, and then they changed it last minute, or what. But that's definitely very interesting, and it is definitely something to keep in mind. It also then says, the realm starts falling apart, the balance is completely torn apart, and this is something I used to talk about a lot leading up to Crystalized. I had so many theories about how the balance may be completely shifted, and that would also to send everything into chaos within the realm of Ninjago. So it is kind of cool to see it actually being mentioned here, at least, although it didn't really happen in the season itself. It's nice that in an alternative ending, something like that did actually happen. But then Nia comes out of the ocean and they have a huge fight. So this would mean that Nia doesn't turn back to a human at the very start of Crystalized, which is obviously what happened in the real season. So that's definitely interesting, and it's something else to keep in mind here. I think that would have been a much better route to take, at least. If they were going to have Nia return in the season, at least have her return towards the end, you know? Don't return hers straight away, because again, it just makes the entire consequence of Seabound a little bit useless to an extent. And then having the ninja having to fight Lloyd in this enraged Oni form would be incredible, I think, especially with that amazing premium wild brain animation that we're all used to at this point. I think it would have been incredible to see something like that. And then it just transcends into the normal ending. So they defeat Lloyd and bring him back, and then you have the same ending. And then lastly here, it does say that there were scenarios where Garmadon died as well, but they decided to just make it nice and tidy. So yeah, interesting. I think it definitely would have been nice to have Garmadon have a death of sorts. At the same time though, maybe there is some form of future with his story in particular, and so maybe keeping him around was for the best. But overall, I think this was a really interesting thing for him to actually reveal to us, and I think in many ways I do prefer it to the original Crystalized ending. It just seems a lot better in my personal opinion, and I think it definitely would have been pretty cool to see actually happen and take place within the season. With all of this being said, that is just about going through it for this one here, so be sure to drop all of your own thoughts on this down below in the comments. I'd love to hear your own thoughts on this. If you enjoyed this video here, be sure to, of course, leave a like on it, subscribe for more, and hit that notification bell so that you can be the first to view my new content whenever I do post it. With all of this being said, though, I will see you all very soon for my next one. Goodbye.